INFJs are extremely intuitive, and if you're an INFJ yourself, you can relate to the feeling of just knowing things without really understanding how you know them. In fact, with introverted intuition as the dominant INFJ function, they are considered to be one of the most intuitive personality types out there. So, what's so special about this so-called INFJ intuition? Welcome back, Psycho. Before we get into the video, have you liked and subscribed to the channel? Go ahead, we'll wait for you. Be sure to click the notification bell while you're there so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. It can feel different for every INFJ. Although all INFJ brains prefer to use intuition as their dominant function when making decisions, each INFJ experiences their introverted intuition differently. And aside from that, most INFJs actually experience different feelings depending on the situation and other people involved. Of course, the feeling of an intuitive hunch can be difficult to put into words, but in a general sense, intuition can trigger both emotional and physical sensations that allow the INFJ brain to pay closer attention to what's being called to focus on. Sometimes it's a feeling about energy, sometimes it's a flash of a future prediction, and other times it can just be a physical chill, avoidance, change in body temperature, and the list goes on. In fact, sometimes there is no sensation whatsoever, and instead just a mental knowing. Number 2. Intuitive findings are almost always kept private. In early INFJ years, their intuitive gifts can seem otherworldly. The astonishing findings and so-called coincidences can feel like a gift they need to share with the world, but over time, INFJs learn that most intuitive feelings are actually best kept to themselves. Regardless of how familiar an INFJ is with feeling misunderstood in the world, sharing their intuitive feelings is a sure way to make them seem crazy, especially to logical personality types. They know that it takes a certain amount of open-mindedness to understand intuition, and they learn to not expect that from everyone. Aside from the fact that intuitive feelings can feel taboo or woo-woo to some people, INFJs can also receive information from these hunches that other people are not ready to see as true. For example, if an INFJ intuitively felt that their friend's new partner was being unfaithful, they may A. tell their friend and risk jeopardizing being blamed for jumping to conclusions, or B. keep it to themselves and wait for it all to play out in the future. Of course, INFJs would rather choose to save their friend from misery as soon as possible, but in doing so can actually cause more harm than good. Number 3. It exerts some serious energy. Intuition requires the subconscious brain to be working on overdrive, even though everyone's intuition works in the background of their mind. For an INFJ, it can take a serious amount of exerted energy to keep their strong intuitions running 24/7. This intuitive inner compass is not only running when being paid attention to, but is actually picking up on the minute detail of everything around them all the time, subconsciously noting information that can be pieced together later down the line. If that doesn't sound exhausting enough, just add the INFJ's empathetic nature to the mix. When an INFJ is feeling empathetic or skeptical towards a person or situation, the whole intuitive process can be even more draining. Empathy triggers the INFJ's intuition to be on high alert. Such high alert that can be difficult for their introspective personality type to pay attention to anything other than what their intuition is pushing them to focus on. This is why it's so important for INFJs to set boundaries around their energy, because it can easily consume their entire focus involuntarily. Number 4. It's not as supernatural as it seems. Intuition is one of those things that everyone innately has, but not everyone uses it. For that very reason, the INFJ intuition can seem alienating, almost as if they have these psychic powers that others aren't equipped with. While INFJs do have one up considering introversion intuition is their most dominant function, the supernatural aspect of their intuition is often blown out of proportion. In fact, the reason that INFJ intuition is so particularly strong compared to other personality types is for the sole reason that they have a certain set of introspective functions that allow them to absorb crucial pieces of information that others often overlook. Since INFJs are already so familiar with analysing their surroundings, their subconscious minds are way ahead of them. Subtle, everyday things like body language, tone of voice, autopilot behaviour and overall energy is picked up by their extroverted sensing, while their introverted intuition makes sense of it all behind the scenes. So rather than INFJs having some type of secret spiritual connection to divine intuition, they're more likely to just be using their function in the proper order. Number 5. Practice makes perfect. INFJ intuition has proven itself to be nothing short of astonishing. However, like any special gift or talent, practice makes perfect. Ironically, you can't really control having deep intuitive abilities, but you can improve the precision and understanding of intuitive findings over time. The INFJ intuition is like a muscle that grows the more you use it. Likewise, it can wilt away when out of practice. So how can this strong intuition be improved? Well, the main steps any INFJ can take to improve their intuition are quite simple, but they do require patience. Learning to listen and trust that random and repetitive voice in their heads is the first step, and then putting their intuitive understanding into practice is the second step. Repeat step 1 and step 2 every day, even for the seemingly simple things, and watch as the intuitive muscle gets stronger and easily utilized. Number 6. It can be extremely accurate. Practice makes perfect, but what exactly happens when an INFJ's intuition is strengthened to its fullest capacity? Well, to put it simply, extreme accuracy happens. In fact, especially when it comes to an INFJ personality type, a well-seasoned intuition is what gives the INFJ their psychic stereotype. The visions, callings, gut feelings, flashes or insights and whatever else the INFJ experiences become so well equipped to different types of scenarios that they ultimately lead the INFJ without the need of any type of factual basis. They begin to experience flashes of future predictions and then déjà vu when these future predictions actually come to fruition. The first few times this happens can feel unsettlingly unexplainable, but over time, this gift becomes second nature for an INFJ. Yet, when it comes to outside witnesses of the INFJ's intuitive abilities, the bone-chilling accuracy will almost always leave others speechless and skeptical. It's important to know that these insights may not be immediate projections. Sometimes INFJs have to wait days or even years until they see their insights play out in the real world. Number 7. It can cause discord in relationships. When an INFJ chooses to use their intuition as their main decision-making factor, it's understandable that others may think the INFJ is being reckless or rash. Intuitive feelings can be extremely unpredictable to say the least, and sometimes these hunches aren't always in agreement with what an INFJ's heart and head has their focus on. For example, if an INFJ is in a romantic relationship where all the facts make it seem like they're a perfect match, but there is a persistent negative gut feeling surrounding the connection, some INFJs wouldn't hesitate to end it with no factual explanation. Although it may seem unfair, experienced intuitives know that they're saving both themselves and the other person a lot of headache and difficulty in the future, so they see it as their most ideal decision. And number 8, it's uncontrollable. INFJ intuition does not work on demand and it does not have an off button. Insights don't come to an INFJ when they ask for them and stop when they've had enough. Instead, they come and go as they please, with the INFJ only acting as the messenger. It works in the background of the complex inner workings of the INFJ brain and picks up on information that the INFJ themselves may even overlook. And while it may seem like a supernatural gift or a second brain, this autopilot intuition can feel exhausting, and sometimes almost as if it's an unshakable burden with no cure. Yet, once again, an INFJ sees all the wonderful ways in which their powerful instincts work, and how they can use their intuitive gifts as their decision-making compass. Everything starts to change. After all, intuition will only ever move someone towards their higher good. Well, that's it for today, Psychos. Comment down below if you agree with these 8 intuition facts. Plus, don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos.